What's the most disrespectful thing a teacher has ever done to you? My teacher ripped my cochlear implant off my head, and the second she did, everything went silent. I stood there, frozen, while the classroom moved in blurry silence around me. I've been deaf since birth. When I was 9, my parents got me cochlear implants. They don't make me hear like a hearing person, but they help me function in environments where no one knows sign language. At home, we sign. But at school, I rely on those implants to hear lectures, group work, even hallway noise. Because without them, the world turns dark and hollow. Yesterday, I wore a beanie to keep my CI transmitters in place, something I've done 100 times. My regular teachers know what it is and how I learn. But that day, we had a substitute. She didn't know me or anything about me. She saw something by my ears and assumed I was hiding headphones. She marched right over and told me to take them off or she'd write me up for breaking the rules. I stayed calm. I took off my beanie and showed her the devices. I told her they were cochlear implants and explained how they helped me hear. She didn't even look at them. She squinted like she didn't believe me and said it was a pretty weak excuse. I repeated as clearly as I could that they were medical devices and that I was deaf, that these were how I stayed in the conversation. She rolled her eyes and walked away. I thought that was the end of it. But a few minutes later, I felt movement behind me. Before I could even turn, she reached forward and yanked both implants off my head. And in that instant, I froze. My hearing was gone. My hands were shaking. I jumped up, heart pounding, and yelled at her to stop, but I had no idea how loud I was because I couldn't hear myself. I reached to grab the implants back, panicking, not thinking about anything but getting them out of her hands before she broke them or lost them. She screamed that I had attacked her. I shouted that she took my hearing. The whole class went silent. Some kids stared. Others pulled out their phones. Then the principal walked in. He tried talking, but I couldn't hear anything he said. I pointed at my ears and mouthed, "She took them." Over and over again. I was totally cut off from whatever story they were creating about me. Someone finally handed me my implants. I clipped them back on, but my hands were still trembling. The principal looked at me and said they'd deal with it appropriately. I thought that meant her, not me. But then he handed me a paper. I was suspended for escalating the situation and for physically grabbing a teacher. I just stood there, numb. When I got home, I told my dad everything. He didn't say a word at first. Then he stood up, pulled out his phone, and said he was calling a lawyer. He told me, "They are not going to turn my son into the villain because someone didn't know the difference between earbuds and assistive devices." The school said the teacher would be placed on leave while they reviewed the incident. But my suspension stayed on the record. And the vice principal said I could avoid further penalties if I wrote an apology letter to the teacher. So I wrote it, because I just wanted the nightmare to end. But I didn't sign it, and I don't know what to do next. Would you have signed it? So I wrote it, because I just wanted the nightmare to end. But I didn't sign it, and I don't know what to do next. Would you have signed it?